You can't fuck with Caitlin right now. She is emotionally fragile.
I'm gonna fuck with Caitlin.
This bitch. We just watched the episodes this morning, so having some emotions.
All right. Well, let's get through this together. Hello, and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By, a Star Trek podcast, episode 194.
Oh, ow!
Woo!
This is the 194th hour you could have spent better.
Jesus Christ.
My name is Jake, and joining me today are...
Chris?
James.
And Caitlin.
And today we'll be talking about 2 episodes of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, The Ship, and Apocalypse Rising.
Other order.
Ship the Rising
damn it.
Apocalypse.
God fucking damn it.
Take 3.
Fucking
Very
quit
good.
this podcast.
Um,
No.
Anyway, so those are the 2 episodes we'll be talking about. We'll be starting with Apocalypse Rising, which is the season 5 premiere
Hot dog.
of Deep
Ooh.
Space Nine. And then we'll move on to The Ship, which
Starting off with a bang.
happens to be the 100th episode of Deep Space Nine. So
Oh.
two milestone
Landmark.
episodes numerically. Anyway,
Also,
so let's
the
say
30th anniversary of Star Trek. Around
Oh,
this time
look
when
at
it
that.
came out.
30th anniversary of Shrek. I remember seeing that in the theaters.
Damn it.
In Apocalypse Rising, we get a little previously on where we see the events of the last episode where Odo gets turned into a real boy. And then we see, he's looking at the TV, he's watching TV, and he sees Gowron on there. And Gowron jogs something in his memory, and he's like, oh my god, Gowron is a changeling. Ah!
I fucked that guy once.
Oh, no.
So, then dun dun dun. All right, now we're in season 5, Apocalypse Rising. Sisko returns to the station, having just been to Starfleet, and he says, yep, Starfleet's not too happy about this Gowron situation. Apparently now we're also at war with the Klingons, like a full-blown war. His shuttle had gotten fucked up in the exact same spot that Kira's shuttle got fucked up in a couple weeks ago.
Dr.
Glad you
Bashir
Really,
had
they
to,
just need to better protect that side.
Dr. Bashir had to surgically implant Ben's breakfast into Dax.
Oh my.
Did the Trill Dax or to Jadzia?
Yes.
Oh my. So anyway, he's like, yep, Starfleet's not too happy about this Gowron thing or this war that he started. So they're going to send a crack team of people deep behind enemy lines in disguise, and we're going to expose the Gowron changeling as a changeling, and the Klingons will kill him, and it'll be great. And they're like, okay, well, who are they going to send? Clearly, they'll send people that Gowron hasn't met before. And they're like, nope. They're going to send it's going to be me, Ben Sisko, Odo, O'Brien, but we'll all be in disguise. Oh, and also that guy that Gowron hates the most, Worf. So,
with very, very minor surgical alterations that I wouldn't have even noticed if I hadn't read about it in a book.
They did alter him?
Apparently.
Bullshit! Anyway, sorry, go on, Jake.
So it's fun, though, because everybody gets to put on their Klingon heads. And we get we need a ship to get us there. What can we do? We can just fly the Defiant and Cloaked. No, too simple. Let's get Dukat on this shit, because he's got a Klingon bird of prey. So he shows up, doesn't even bother to say hi to his daughter, and ferries our intrepid team over to Tiger Corps or something.
Sure.
Yeah. The Galorndon Corps.
Not that one.
So we go to Tiger Corps, which is they're having this big raucous Klingon party because everyone's going to be given awards. But in order to get the award, you have to get absolutely plastered on blood wine. And everyone who's still standing in the morning, I guess, gets the award, I guess. I don't know how it works.
Well, and it looks like only one guy didn't get it because it made a big show of hauling him out.
Wimp.
So anyway, they're in this chamber, and Gowron's going to come in the morning, and he's going to bestow this award on everybody. But the way they're going to expose them, they got these juggling ball things that if they arrange them in a square pattern, it will destabilize his goo, and he'll turn to goo.
And give everyone else cancer.
That's right. So plan is just about to go swimmingly in the morning. Gowron's there. General Martok is there, who we've met before. Sisko gets called up, not as Sisko, but as his Klingon alias, to receive his award. Gowron doesn't recognize him, which is kind of weird. But Martok does, and Martok hits him over the back of the head with the butt end of a batleth and knocks him down. He's like, Benjamin Sisko, you are gonna die. I'm gonna put you in jail.
Okay, strong bad.
So they put the conspirators in jail, and they're like, Martok, come on, you know Gowron ain't quite right. You know, he's have you seen his eyes? Jesus. That dude's definitely a changeling. And Martok's like, yeah, I felt that way for a while, but you know, what can I do? I'm only the most powerful guy next to Gowron. And they're like,
he's
well,
really in a bind there, yeah.
It's like, well, why don't you kill him? And he's like, well, I can't kill him. I'm the second most powerful guy next to him. You know, that'd be the first to be suspected or whatever. So you got to kill him for me. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll do that. And they're like, well, so what do we do? Like honorable combat? He's like, no, fuck that shit. That's for pussies. Just go, stab him in the back when he's not looking. That's the way to do it. It's the Klingon way. And so they're walking out, and Worf has absolutely no problem with this. But it's
he's got a
Odo
vendetta.
who smells something gooey, and he's like, wait a minute, that's not very Klingon-y, doing this whole, being a bastard thing and just sneaking up on the guy. What about honorable combat? And then Martok's like, haha, you sniffed me out, solid boy. You got me. I'm actually a changeling the whole time. And everyone sort of bulges eyes, and then they walk in the room, and right as Worf is gonna kill Gowron in combat, they burst through the door, and the changeling Martok is choking out Odo, and Odo's like, Aah! And then he's like, he's the changeling, and everyone's like, oh, we'll believe that guy, shoot him. And then they shoot him, and he explodes.
As they do.
They do. Yeah, and then Gowron's like, well, thanks for saving the Klingon Empire, but, we're still at war because I can't admit a mistake. And
much like Pringles, once you pop, the fun don't stop.
And so, but, I'm still thankful that you exposed the changeling, except for you, Worf. You still suck.
Oh.
And that's that.
Look, that is not the jacket of a man who admits mistakes.
The what?
That's true.
The jacket.
Jacket? What was up with the jacket?
Fucking coat he wears when he first walks in, and at the end of the episode, where it's just like
Gowron, he means.
This crazy overcoat that's just laden with medals.
Well, yeah,
it also just felt like it was like extra wide. It just made him look huge, and I could sort of think of Gowron as being sort of a little fella.
Except the eyes. The eyes are huge.
Oh, huge, yeah. Those are the eyes of a much larger Klingon.
Eyes for
He
days.
took them from someone else's head.
See, we're all making the mistake right now and thinking, oh yeah, it's been Martok the whole time. That's been the problem. It's a changeling. They can change out whenever they want. He may have been Gowron for a while. He may have been Martok afterwards.
There may be two changelings.
But wouldn't Gowron have had to have been dead for him to pull that off?
You could just be in prison somewhere.
Yeah, fair enough, I guess.
Yeah, when he's not looking, just go on the airwaves. Aha!
You know what it is? Martok was a changeling. Gowron is Eddington. Surgically altered to
Brilliant.
Look like Gowron.
Speaking of surgically altered, we get tons of new makeup for everybody this week.
It was pretty excellent.
Yeah, I thought Sisko, it fucking suited.
Mm.
He looked great. The other two looked very, very silly.
Yeah. I kind of agree with that. But it's not just that, too, though. Like, it's just like how when Sisko gets into the mirror universe, he fits right in. He's a fucking great Klingon. He took to it.
He definitely could play the part. And something I didn't mention in the thing is that Odo, we're seeing the side of Odo where he's just a load now. He's very depressed.
An alcoholic, it seemed like.
Alcoholic, yeah.
Well, except it seems like he's spending more
bubbles.
time listening to his drink than actually drinking it.
Yeah, I think he was already shit-faced, though. How many sober people do you know? They're like, you hear these bubbles? Aren't they great?
Well, he never paid attention before.
Yeah, I know. I think he was drunk, though.
It's a hard call.
Yeah. I mean, he either drunk or not. I mean, he was definitely, he definitely should have been seeing Dr. Tell Me or whatever?
Something like that, yeah.
So, Chris, I just sent you over Messenger a quote from my book that I think you should read in your Cole Meany accent.
I'll do my best.
Holy God, an Irish accent coming out of a Klingon was very disturbing to me. Here's a great quote.
Oh, it was hideous, laments Cole Meany. When they put that forehead prosthetic piece on me, I couldn't close my eyes. It's like they were glued open. It was driving me crazy. I was bitching and moaning so much. And then my final major, tantrum, you could say, he chuckles, was about my nails. Because they darkened down my hands and I thought my nails were ruined. I remember that Michael Darn was very much looking forward to the fact that we would get to experience what he has to go through every day and he would get to gloat. But after 2 days of experiencing me in that makeup, he was saying, oh, never put Coleman that makeup again.
Ninny.
Oh, boy. I was wondering, I don't know if it's said, but did Odo's usual face take longer or his Klingon face?
He preferred the Klingon face, he said. There was a good quote somewhere else in the book that said, like, whilst Colm and Avery were bitching about their Klingon makeup and being like, oh, this is terrible, this is the worst thing we've ever had to do for this show, we hate it so much, Renee Auberjonois strides in saying, oh my God, the Klingon makeup is so much better than my Odo makeup because it covers less of my face.
Yeah, because it's only the top half of the face.
It's so much more comfortable and I can act better in this. This is amazing. And that shut the other two up like, whoa.
Now, did they ever actually, I don't know if your book would have said this, but did they ever actually ask him, like, hey, so now that you're a solid, do you just want to use your face? Like, was that ever offered to him?
To
but
Renee,
at the end, when they were putting him, before he'd gone back to...
No, sorry, I mean, in real life, did they ask Renee Auberjonois, do you want to drop the Odo makeup?
I doubt it, because it's more in the character to keep the Odo makeup.
Yeah.
I think it's a plot point.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was interesting, though. Like, Odo kind of getting his groove back was kind of the subplot, because he's the one that realizes something is amiss, and...
Yeah, after almost blowing it by dropping his fancy Christmas ornament.
Yeah, not just that, though, but, like, even the whole time on the ride there, when they're doing, like, how to be Klingon 101, and, he's just not participating.
Yeah.
Well, it's extra interesting for Odo, because this is also the first time we've seen him with a more humanoid face. So it's something he couldn't do before. He could never be more humanoid before. He's never had to act humanoid to infiltrate anybody, whilst other changelings, like, whoever's being Gowron, whoever was being, not Eddington, who was the actual changeling? Bashir. All other changelings seem to be, like, excellent actors. And Odo basically admits, like, this is not a thing I'm capable of doing. I
can be a rat, I can be a wall, I can be a bag.
A hat, a brooch, a pterodactyl.
His bag acting is some of his best acting.
But yeah, it is funny that, like, to get him out of a rut, like, involves bringing him on a mission where he has to get surgically altered to look different. It's like, oh, this is sort of a dark irony there.
Yeah, and he also has to go, potentially go kill one of his own people.
Again.
He's used to that.
Yeah. The thing for which he was recently punished.
Gotta say, that changeling there really fucked it up at the end. Because he goes, he's the changeling! And it could have been like, you don't believe him, do you? But instead, he goes all tentacle monster. It's like, you blew it, asshole! I loved then how just every gun in the room turned on him and went off at once. It was kind of like the end of Throne of Blood.
Well, and it was like one person shot, like I think someone from the Deep Space Nine team.
Yeah, and then
everybody else was like,
in.
fuck yeah, pew pew!
Yeah.
It was enjoyable.
It was.
So now, are we to assume that General Martok that we saw in Way of the Warrior was also a changeling? Was it this, or was there ever an original General Martok?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know.
I mean, I kind of feel like probably it was the changeling.
Yeah, because that's really where they were laying the seeds for a lot of this.
That,
so
like, there's somebody whispering in Gowron's ear, making him do all this, crazy shit.
So assumably he used the trick that Joe Sisko suggested, was that I just have some blood on me at all times, so that I can do the palm slash and bleed a little for you.
Well, and he must have a ton of it, because Bashir told us that the Klingons are crazy about their blood screenings and stuff, is that like new information? Do you know?
Well, I mean, in that episode, they did the palm
Yeah,
slicing thing
Martok,
right away.
yeah, that was the first thing he did.
God, their palms must be just scarred beyond belief.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
But
no,
what's
never bring them to
interesting-
a human fortune teller.
So that happened in that episode, the palm slicing, before Apocalypse Rising and Paradise Lost. No, this is Apocalypse Rising. What was the one before Paradise Lost?
Homefront.
Yeah.
Homefront. So, which means that all of those blood screenings that they did during that, all of them
Yeah.
were completely useless
Yep.
because the changelings already, many episodes prior, had a way around it.
It's almost like clamping down on civil rights for security never works.
No, that can't be it. It's the children who are wrong.
Yeah, I do love the twist, because, all up until now, they were like, yeah, Gowron's a changeling now. Ba-ba-ba-bump. Ba-ba-ba-bump. Wah. But Ronald D. Moore says, maybe it should be Martok. Maybe that'll be much more interesting, because, people watching this episode are going to be thinking the whole time, yep, they're going to go kill Gowron. We've figured it out. We know what's going to happen. Oh, it's Martok. What?
So when they wrote the end of season 4, they actually did intend it to be Gowron?
Yeah, I think so.
And then they changed their mind. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, they changed their mind fairly late, too. They had to do a whole lot of rewrites when they realized that and said, oh, yeah, that is a better idea.
It is.
I'm actually kind of glad, because I was a little bit sad thinking we weren't going to see any more Gowron.
Oh, well, yeah,
I
also the fans
love those
Gowron.
crazy eyes. Yeah.
No, this is Pete Gowron, the fucking glory to you
And your
hold on.
house.
Love it.
And
love
your
it.
house.
The audience can't see you
Yeah, this
doing
is
that with
this is
their eyes,
radio,
Chris.
but
No,
also
but you guys
that was,
can,
that
so
was
it's for you.
horrifying. Thank you.
For you.
But yeah, yes, he was definitely peak Gowron,
Yeah.
especially when he was with Ben Sisko.
Yeah, well, because he knew something was amiss.
Well, it's funny because in that moment, I felt like, and again, this is because you expect it's going to be Gowron the whole time.
Yeah.
I kind of felt like that was the changeling being like, "Oh fuck, he's here. I'm in deep shit," because they did a long flash to his face, and you could
Yep.
sort of see him being like, "Oh fuck." So,
Well, maybe he was getting signals from fake Martok who was behind Sisko.
well, I like to imagine he's doing like when a catcher is doing signals,
Yeah.
like he's throwing a peace sign. He's doing all kinds of shit. I don't know. No, wait, that's the Three Stooges.
It is, yes.
So
I just imagine though that Gowron probably did recognize Sisko and was just like, oh man, this guy looks an awful lot like Sisko.
do my eyes deceive me?
Never.
Yes.
Never.
Damn your eyes.
How could you miss something so obvious with eyes like that?
True. My, what big eyes you have.
Hey. The better to destroy your house.
Nailed it.
But yeah, so presumably fake Martok knew the whole time who the four of them were.
Oh, I'm
Maybe?
sure this was I'm sure he saw this happening and was like, oh, this is a great plan because
Yeah.
they're going to assassinate Gowron for me. He's
Yeah.
not a changeling.
Stir up lots more unrest.
Yeah.
Then we can just attack.
Yep. But yeah, again, we gotta talk about the fact that they did not change Worf's makeup enough.
What did they
I
change?
didn't
His
even realize.
ridges?
I think his nose?
Really? He's fairly infamous in the Empire.
Yeah, he's
You
kind of
gotta
public
do
enemy number one
major-
over there.
I think they changed his ridges more when him and fucking his brother,
Kern.
Kern, thank you, broke onto that ship.
I almost
Yeah.
said Dorn. Nope.
Give the man an eye patch or something.
Mm.
They must have other heads that are fitted to Michael Dorn because there's that head. There's also the Colonel Worf from
well, that's
Star
gotta
Trek
be
6.
gone by now. That was years ago at this point.
They should have
I
put
imagine
him
they keep
back
that
to.
shit, right?
They should have put him back to season 1 TNG.
There we
Hey.
go.
Yeah,
Completely
there's that head.
unrecognizable then.
I mean,
No,
they
they
might
burned
keep
that thing.
They might keep it, but I mean, after that many years in storage, it probably just
No.
starts to
Yeah,
kind
'cause
of.
it's like latex, right?
Yeah, that
It
shit-
probably crumbles.
that
I
shit
imagine
doesn't
that they
glaze.
also have the cast. Those are just.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, no, it's that's the one problem with this episode. You're sitting there just how is no one recognizing Worf?
Yeah.
I suggested that perhaps it was when stuff slips by his sensors and it's not because they don't know, it's because they don't want to admit they get the dirty joke. It's if you acknowledge that you recognize
Ah,
a traitorous Worf, maybe you're bad. I don't know.
Like, at least fucking pull a Superman. Put glasses on him.
There you go.
A Klingon in glasses.
That would have been fucking
Dishonorable.
amazing. The thing is, though, is like you think about it, though, glasses or an eye patch would draw too much attention, in my opinion. Like, I feel like that's like, oh,
No,
wonder what happened to his eye. Wait a second.
With an eye patch, though, I feel like a lot of Klingons just would have eye patches because they
we've
just
seen
gouge
it.
each other in the face so often.
That's
General
probably
Chang
true.
had one.
I liked the scene between Martok and Chief O'Brien. Because watching Colmini sweat, I felt like he was definitely the worst of the Klingons, you know, sort of.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like, oh, sorry, you know, whatever. But I thought he did a really good job. And I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah. The little close calls that they had at the party were fun.
Oh yeah, when Odo drops his trinket
Yeah.
and they're like, "What is this?"
Vulcan children's toy.
Yeah.
You
Which
could sort of buy that, though. It looks like it could be some sort of, like, really fancy puzzle box.
Yeah, no, it'd be like, it seems like Vulcan jackass.
Boring bullshit Vulcans like.
Actually, speaking of those, I swear they made those by buying a bunch of the, like, 2001 A Space Odyssey EVA pod kits, because it looks almost just like them if you take the arms off and paint it gold.
Yeah, because at first we thought it might have been a Death Star.
But then I realized the circle was all wrong.
These are the Polaron emitters.
Yeah.
See, I start assuming, like, do they have these things all over Deep Space Nine? Because they need these things all over Deep Space Nine.
Well,
these
they're a
were
prototype.
prototypes.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Well,
they've
once
been
they have-
destroyed, so no.
They
And
can
also-
find more.
The problem is you can't keep using them.
Because it kills people.
Yeah. Yeah, they wrote themselves out of that one. Like, you can use it once on a person. So, you know, unless you want to irradiate everyone in Deep Space Nine every day.
They do.
Fatally.
So we can just keep assuming that, yes, there are still changelings all over Deep Space Nine.
Oh, goodness, yes.
They probably clued in Martok to be like, by the way, Sisko, Worf, the other two, they're coming to say hi.
I mean, it seems like it would be obvious that they just implanted that. The changelings conspicuously let Odo in on the, Gowron's a changeling, so, you know, probably go assassinate him or something, huh?
Yeah, that's
Motherfuckers
very
are-
them.
Always playing the long game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I read that this was originally supposed to be a two-parter, which could have been nice because it means that they would have had more budget, and more budget for this story would have been fun. But the first part would mostly be more stuff on Ducat's ship, which I admit, yes, is fairly limited this episode, although he does know a Vulcan hello like crazy.
True.
I thought the look on his face when these Klingons emerged was absolutely beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah, no, like I said, he was
Just a
into
big
it.
old shit-eating grin.
I did enjoy his trophies. The Klingon sash and the, like, spine cover from the back of their armor jacket thing.
Awesome.
And Damar just had a belt slung around his shoulder.
Yeah. Marauding Ducat is best Ducat, I think.
All
But-
Ducats.
But yeah, no, I think this was... I feel like a two-parter, it just would have felt padded. Like, I feel like they
Might
got to the point, maybe they could have done more, but I feel like with a lot of the two-parters we've seen, we just would have been like, this could have been one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like there would have been... Like, I don't know what you would add to that. I mean, again,
They
even if
would've-
you added a little extra Ducat, like, you've still got
Yeah.
another 35 minutes to figure out, you know?
Maybe
Yeah,
more...
They would have added more statues on Tai Gokor about, all those big, like, 20-foot Klingon statues. There were supposed to originally be 8. They had to scale back. So that's where the extra money would go. More Klingon statues.
Well, and
Instead
if they
of-
had 8 statues, they would have needed 8 of those little balls. So then we would have had to watch the 4 most conspicuous-looking people trying to look inconspicuous twice each instead of just once.
I mean, what I don't get, though, is, like, so they had to set the balls up, right, in a location. Why couldn't they just
Hold on to
hold
them.
them? Yeah, just like...
oh, yeah.
Like,
I
okay,
don't know.
when Sisko gives the signal, everybody hold your ball up, and we'll stand in 4 corners of the room.
That would have
Yep.
definitely been a little simpler. Maybe because irradiation something, maybe they get really hot, you'd burn your hands.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's probably a reason. Maybe they didn't think of it.
Maybe. They should have at least tried to make them look like something that belonged in a Klingon, hall.
Here's the thing.
I love when Chris says that.
As proven by the fact that they keep sending in captains to do their job for them, Starfleet Intelligence is fucking incompetent. Like, they don't seem to have spies because they keep sending sailors with no training.
Well, we don't know. They could be doing stuff with spies that we just don't see because it's secret.
Well, do this with them.
But then we
mean,
wouldn't have an
that's
episode,
sad.
Chris.
I know, but it's just like, it as a conceit, it has begun to wear. It was bad enough when they sent Picard for fucking 4 lights there, you know?
Oh, but
like,
he knew so much about that particular kind
that
of
he could have
signal.
written down and handed to someone.
Nope. Only he can deal with it.
Like, I know, again, it's for the sake of having an episode, but when you think about it in a real-world sense, it just makes out that Starfleet Intelligence has planners, but no field men.
I mean, having said that, though, and I do agree, and I do think it's ridiculous that they sent, of all the 4 people that they could send, they sent 4 people that know Gowron.
Yeah.
And that who Gowron would know, probably all of them on site, but he would certainly know Worf on site.
Oh, yeah.
It is a fact, though, that they have, in their little strike team, they have probably the 2 most expert people on the Changelings and the Klingons.
Yeah.
Right?
O'Brien. Wait.
Yep.
Wait.
No, O'Brien is both.
So, I mean, at least, yeah, it is kind of silly that they sent people that Gowron knows, but at the same time, it's not like they're just randomly selected these people. They're actually people that know a lot about Changelings and know a lot about Klingons. And it's a good thing because at the critical moment on this mission, when you needed shit to happen, it was Worf and Odo who kind of took charge.
Yeah.
And O'Brien really didn't need to be there at all.
Yeah, he was superfluous. They just needed a 4th person.
Yeah.
Yes.
Probably should have been Dax, because she already knows Klingons really well.
Yeah, and there were lady warriors there getting awards.
I really liked that.
I was really excited by that myself.
Yeah.
I was hoping it was my girl Grilka, but
No, we'll see her, I think, next week.
spoilers. I'm excited.
You think if they have similar awards for Klingon tailors, it's glory to you and your blouse?
Nope.
Well, now that I've brought us to a screeching fucking halt.
Yeah.
Jesus
One more
Christ.
note. We get a very, like, wink scene between Kira and Julian, which is very hilarious. Of, you're the one who did this to me. ... Get
it?
Because you're my boyfriend.
Because he stuck it in.
Yeah, the metatextual aspect of that scene just kind of kept me from enjoying it.
Aw. They're cute, though. They're very cute.
Like, it was a cute scene, but it was like, because I know the reality of it, I'm just like, I see what you're doing here, and no.
Well, also, I was expecting it to lead to intercourse, and all I could do was feel really bad for Keiko and O'Brien's baby.
I will say, though, what I did love.
Oh, yeah.
What I fucking loved was how much Kira was relishing in not explaining what was going on to Dukat.
I loved that.
Yeah.
That was
Oh,
great.
Shakar's
Chief
a lucky
O'Brien.
man, blah, blah, blah.
Not Shakar.
Who-
What? Whose is it? O'Brien's.
Well, and she says it so matter-of-factly, like, duh.
And then Ducat's head explodes.
It did. Like, his expression there was just like, the curly-headed one?
What? Have you seen that skull?
Miles
You want that
Blunt
coming out of
Tool
you?
Potato Head O'Brien?
Yikes.
Ah, boy.
Poor, poor Miles.
I think Dukat was just like, wait a minute. If it's not Shakar, it should have been me. God damn it.
Yeah, pretty much.
This was an option?
I lost to O'Brien?
Thought it was really funny during the pre-gaming for the Batleth ceremony. We were watching, and when Worf explained, like, no, basically we're gonna drink and beat each other up until he gets here, and then, like, once that happens, everything will be, that'll show who has the glory. And Chris goes, oh, it's a drinking contest? You should have told me before, or like, whatever.
I wouldn't have been nervous. This is fucking Tuesday.
The blood wine looked gross, by the way.
Yeah,
it looked
it
like
did.
dirty water. It didn't look like blood or wine. It looked like mud.
Well, I'm wondering, is blood wine just like fermented blood? Like, is that what it is?
Well,
I wouldn't doubt it.
there's a dude on YouTube who does a drinking program, and often he will do recreations of drinks from television. It's called How to Drink. And he actually did a blood wine episode, and he asked the same question. He was like, is it Klingon's blood? That'd be fucked up. Is it like Targ's blood? That would be kind of weird. And then they cut to that scene from, was it like one of the TNG movies where Worf is like, I want to drink the blood of a blah, blah, blah.
I don't remember. But it also used a lot of clips from this episode.
Yeah.
But mislabeled Odo as O'Brien.
Oh, whoops. I like that someone mentioned Gowron's pet Targ. And my thought was, I bet it's played by a pug so that it can have bulgy eyes.
No.
It was Odo, I think.
It was.
Because he was talking about, like, if you need someone to be his pet Targ, I can't do that.
I do love the idea of a wee fucking pug made up into a Targ, though. That is...
Have you ever seen that picture of that pug dressed up as Slimer from
Yes.
the Ghostbusters?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
that's perfect.
It's amazing.
It's pretty
So,
cool.
this whole thing kind of makes me more cynical about the changelings. Because, they would have you think, oh yeah, we gave Odo some sickness so that he would have to come home and face judgment for his crime. When in reality now, that's not they didn't give a shit about his crime or giving him punishment. They literally wanted to lure him back, so they could sneak this little tidbit of information about
Yeah, for sure.
about Gowron in.
And also
but
so they could be dicks.
And also just to turn him human, because that's the thing. If they needed both, because he could have just turned himself into the pet Targ. They can't have a rogue changeling if they're trying to do nefarious shit like this, because it's very easy to foil that plan.
I think it could be both.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's the timing is a little conspicuous.
But I can
as
feel
soon
that...
as he gets back, it's like, oh, by the way, all this shit.
Yeah. I mean, I think, they're weird fucking bastards. I could see them being like, well, we're going to have him here anyway. This makes this other plot easier, so let's just combine them.
Just flying by the seat of their pants on this plan. That doesn't feel very...
No, not that. But just
changeling.
they had another plan, but they were like, well, wait a minute. This plan would actually be easier. Let's just do that.
They didn't count on Odo's amazing sleuthing ability.
Yeah, it's
It
true.
is
He's a
kinda
detective
weird.
first.
It is weird, though, that Worf wouldn't have been like, oh, dishonor.
Because he was too busy hating on Gowron.
I think he's also very used... Because here's the thing. Odo doesn't know Klingons very well. The Klingon he probably knows the best is Worf,
Yeah.
who wouldn't do dishonorable shit. But Worf knows Klingons. And Worf is like, oh, this Klingon wants to do dishonorable shit. That's pretty fucking typical.
And when it came to it, Worf did try to resort to standard single combat.
Yeah. And he would have won. He had...
Yeah.
Although I will say, Gowron's better at single combat than I would have expected.
Yeah.
He lasted a while.
Yeah. I don't
Didn't even
know.
use his bodyguards.
Yeah.
Because that would have been dishonorable.
Mm-hmm.
I also like how we get to see firsthand that one of the disadvantages of the Batleth, which is if you can potentially just snap it in half if you get your weapon on it in a certain way.
Yeah. 'Tis a silly sword.
One final note. We get a Vilix Pran callback. The guy who
Yeah.
does budding.
That I did think, that amused me.
That was pretty nice.
Yeah, because that was, season 2, probably?
Oh, I don't remember.
It was a while ago.
Yeah, it was a while that we learned that they have a crew member
Who
who
buds.
buds. And he's got like 18 kids now.
Trying to find
They
out
know
how
what they've
tall
done.
Robert O'Reilly is. How tall is Robert O'Reilly?
What are you expecting? Him to be tall or short?
Short.
I think he's probably like mid-5s.
Yeah, he's 5'10". That's
No,
much
that's-
taller
that's-
than I expected.
That's taller than I thought. I was going to say 5'7", 5'8".
Yeah, that's actually what I would have thought too. Holy shit, do you know Jonathan Frakes is 6'3"?
Yeah, I knew he was pretty
That
tall.
sounds right.
That's
They
like
make comments
pretty
that he's
tall.
Yeah, like there was that one episode, I think, in one of Barclay's fantasies, he went out of his way to make Riker short, which must have involved some fun camera trickery.
Oh, I bet.
Cole Meany is 5'11".
Speaking of camera trickery, tell us about the ship, Jake.
Ah, yes. The ship. All right, so in our next episode, The Ship,
Great title.
our crew is hanging out on some place in the Southern California desert.
Torga 4.
They were hanging out in a fucking TOS plot.
Yep. They were looking
Yes.
for a place to do mining, I guess. And you have to send a crew of 9 and
A crew of your best officers.
your best
Why?
officers, 9 people crammed into a runabout, can't even take the big ship.
True.
To check out some rocks.
In a trip that takes 3 days too. So they were all on that fucking runabout for 3 days just to get there. So that thing must have smelled. That must be why the Benzite had to take out her vape.
I have notes.
We were wondering about that. Like, maybe the ladies don't need them.
Nope, I have
I don't know.
notes.
Oh, good.
But
I
anyway,
can't wait to hear their names.
We're on this planet, and suddenly a Jem'Hadar ship shows up on sensors, but it's crashing, and it crashes. Our crew that's on the surface, which is Dax, Worf, Sisko, O'Brien, Blue Shirt, and
Munez.
Ensign Munez. He is named because he's important to the plot.
And we've met him before.
Have we?
2 other
Oh
times.
yeah, that's right. That's right. He was O'Brien's buddy when he needed when he was coming out of prison.
Yep.
Well, and he was in Starship Down.
Yep, that's right. Okay, so yeah, I
He
forgot that
survived
he was.
Starship Down.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, we find this crash. It's a Jem'Hadar ship. We board it. Everyone on board is dead. There's Jem'Hadar and a Vorta that are dead. Turns out that the ship was just a failure. The inertial dampeners failed, which
Woof. You need those.
made violently threw everybody against the bulkheads, and they died of blunt force trauma. So as they're taking care of burying the bodies and stuff, another Jem'Hadar ship shows up, destroys the runabout,
Oof.
beams
And
down
the people
some.
on board.
Poor Hoya.
Yep. Beams down some people, some Jem'Hadar soldiers who promptly take out the blue shirt guy, and they mortally wound Munez. They bring they retreat into the ship. They're like, what the fuck? So then we have kind of the rest of the episode's pretty much just a standoff between Sisko and the Vorta, the sexy Vorta,
Oh, yeah.
who at first is like, here, look at these, look at my titties. I hear human men like these, so I will.
I'm also going to have my main Jem'Hadar wear a very low-cut shirt as well.
Well, to make him more approachable.
How tall were the heels?
They were reasonable.
She's like, we'll let you guys live. Just give us the ship.
We'll even
you're
drive you
fine."
home.
Yeah. And Sisko's like, we're not going to do that. Meanwhile, they beam a Jem'Hadar into the ship, but he only has armed with a knife, so they promptly take him out. The
Why
Jem'Hadar,
only a knife, Jake?
Well, yeah, that's the weird thing, right? So the Jem'Hadar could blow this up from orbit if they didn't want the Federation getting, a ship. But no, they're being really careful about not destroying or damaging the ship. They won't do a full assault on it, even on the ground. So it's like, there must be something really important on this ship. Fast forward to the end, and we find out, there was a changeling hiding on the ship the whole time. It was injured and dying, and it died.
Oops.
So it's like, oh shit, the changeling that was keeping us alive, the reason they didn't just destroy this thing is now dead, so clearly we're fucked now. But wait, the Vorta just beamed in and is like, yeah, all the Jem'Hadar committed suicide because they allowed a changeling to die, so guess you win. Can I have some of that changeling dust to snort it up, do a line on my way home?
No, it's so that she can think of wonderful thoughts and fly back to Changeling World.
That's right.
What are her wonderful thoughts?
A shirt that keeps her warm.
There you go.
Her boobs covered.
I was going to say banging Sisko, because she was coming on pretty hard
Yeah,
at
she
the beginning.
was thirsty.
She was a manipulative little thing.
She
But,
sure was.
The other thing I didn't mention, that would be a very short episode because the whole drama inside the ship is that everyone's, Munez is not doing so good. But of course, O'Brien's like, "Oh, you're gonna do fine, laddie. It'll be fine."
Me lucky charms.
And Worf's like, "No, he's gonna die."
Fucking Worf is so good with people. My goodness.
Damn Worf.
And then, it comes to blows. And then,
And Jadzia gives in a good sass attack.
and then Sisko's like, Worf, chill the fuck out. O'Brien, chill the fuck out. Dax, your jokes suck and you should feel bad.
Oh, I liked her joke.
I think he went, old man, no one's laughing. I went, I laughed.
So, Munez does die, but then there's this very touching scene where
Couple of good touching scenes.
Worf and O'Brien kind of put their differences aside to mourn him, and it's nice.
Yeah, and Sisko gets a very nice scene with Dax where they talk about, what the costs of being in Starfleet are and what justifications there can be.
Yeah.
Is it worth it in the end?
Speaking of the costs, apparently you have to have your own uniforms made? What?
Yeah, that was weird. You can't just replicate a new one?
Yeah, you
To the size you actually
There's
want?
not like a quartermaster out there that's like giving you uniforms?
Well, listen, this is what I'm thinking. We've been like, why do they even have a tailor? Who even tailors? Who needs tailors? Well, apparently Starfleet needs tailors.
Yeah.
We
You can't
finally
just
have a
replicate
reason
that
for
shit.
Garrick to be a tailor, and it's so Munez can have a fucking uniform rather that fits.
It's probably one of those things where it's like you go to the replicator and you're like, give me a uniform size X. And it's like getting an off the rack suit. And so like he's maybe tinkered with it, like, all right, give me size X, but change this, but he's not a tailor, so like.
But this means we have to pay Garrick, because Garrick isn't in Starfleet. He wouldn't do this for free, because, Starfleet money is confusing as hell.
Yeah.
So they obviously would have to pay him to do that, though.
Maybe
So
they
I
let
don't
him have
fucking
his
know.
shop rent free.
Oh, maybe.
Mm.
I mean, I think we talked about this before. That either they just give a stipend to Starfleet officers in areas that need money, or, and I think this is becoming more and more likely as time goes on, that they probably have UBC in the Federation.
What's that?
Universal Basic Income.
Okay.
Where, like,
What's
Wasn't
the
that
C
UBI?
stand for?
UBI.
UBI, yep, UBI, thank you. Universal Basic Income, which would explain why, like, no one needs anything, but some people do seem to have more than others still.
Yeah.
And why people would still bother making fancy things like snooty wine and shit.
Fancy coats.
Yeah. Like, I think
I don't know.
that's the easiest way to explain away how any of this works, because from show to show, they're really inconsistent about money and property.
Exactly, yeah. I think trying to wrap your brain around it, you're just going to find nothing but elements that don't fit the mold and realize, if this wants to fit, the fact that, Picard has this vineyard, so he obviously owns property.
Yep.
So let's work that in some. No, just stop. Just don't bother. It's not going to make sense.
Yeah, I read this somewhere else where I thought we talked about it. It's not my idea, but I think it's the only one that really you can apply in sort of a blanket way across all the series, and you can go, that makes the most sense.
Hmm.
Well, at least it was in terms of the Picard's farm, and I know this has nothing to do with Deep Space Nine, but
Damn it.
it seems like it had been in his family for, like, generations, so if it had been in the family long enough that it, like, pre-whatever's the fact that they don't have money anymore.
Yeah, but it's still just, like, there's too many weird, like, again, why would anyone bother maintaining it? You can't sell the fruits of all this fucking effort.
Well, if there's no money, then maybe there's no need to work, and if you don't need to work, you gotta do something, so they make wine.
No, I know, it's still just like, Anyway, that's not the point
Anyway,
of
I'm
this
going to
episode.
talk about the ship.
Yes.
I mostly liked this episode a whole lot. The one
Likewise.
thing that got me distracted and kind of annoyed was they had to go out of their way to, like, explain the Jem'Hadar ship that crashed upside down.
Mm.
And they explained this a couple times, and if you look really close, you can kind of tell.
Yeah.
But I feel like they didn't do a great job making it look, A, like it was upside down when you're walking around inside of it, and B, like it wasn't just a bunker when you're looking at it from outside.
Yeah. I thought inside the ship they did a good job. Like, I
Yeah.
could tell that they were walking on, like, the
Lights,
ceiling.
and there were, like, panels hanging from the one thing that didn't make sense was why the Jem'Hadar were hanging from the...
Yeah, that I
Maybe
didn't
they
get.
had magnetic boots.
Maybe.
Maybe.
When the
I just wanted some sort of explanation as to why they were, like, fucking dangling there. That one
I think it
aspect
was
didn't make
just
sense.
to make sure it was clear that they were upside down, because
Yeah.
Jem'Hadar apparently don't use chairs. I read in my book. Jem'Hadar do not use chairs. They stand all the time because,
Yeah, there were no
chairs would slow
chairs.
them down. So they can't just have upside down chairs being the thing that establishes we're upside down, because that would be too fucking easy, evidently.
You know what, then? If they do stand all the time, magnetic boots would make sense as some sort of, like, fail-safe if something goes hooey.
For any reason, there's like an anti-grav problem.
Yeah, you don't have a chair you can, like, strap yourself into.
Or maybe
so.
maybe they just don't have gravity on the Jem'Hadar ship because it's so utilitarian. They
That's
just
a
don't
good point.
put that feature in.
Yeah. There must be a chair for the Vorta somewhere, though. Those motherfuckers love sitting.
They can pop a squat.
Mm.
But I do agree, though, that the outside of the ship, if you look
it's
at what
perfectly level.
Yeah.
It's
And
embedded
if
in a
you look
cliff.
at what a Jem'Hadar ship looks like, the model, it looks kind of like a beetle.
Yeah.
Right? Like the underside of it has like ribs and shit.
Well, in the front. I think towards the end it does get a little blockier.
I don't know. But
But
I
we
don't,
were
I don't
looking
know.
at it from the back, I think, weren't we?
Yeah, that's what I mean. The underside and the back. Like, I feel like the front tends to be the one that's more like... Isn't it?
Beetly.
Or
I
do
don't know.
I...
We'd have to look at a picture.
No,
But
you know,
I
Jake's
feel like
right. I'm thinking of it backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to look at a picture. I just thought when you looked at it a couple times of the scenes, it just literally looked like it was a bunker in a hill.
Yeah.
It didn't look like something that had crashed into that hill.
Yeah, there was no like crater. There was,
Yeah, no debris.
Yeah. There was like, like when the Enterprise crashed on Viridian there, it like left a trail,
It also took 9 hours to crash.
That's true.
God, that
Because
scene
Troy had
takes
the
way
brakes
too long.
on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also read, so this was all the outdoor shooting was filmed in Soledad Canyon on, of course, an extremely hot day.
Always.
Like I read that the air temperature could, above where they were filming, could reach up to 117 degrees.
Jesus.
No.
And the surface material temperature, and I'm not sure what surface they're referring to, but the surface material temperature was 124.
Oh my god.
What the fuck?
Like, just inhumane. They had to, basically dump water on the crew every couple of minutes because they were just overheating like crazy.
Oh my
And
god.
at one point, they all turn around and realized one of the people in Jem'Hadar makeup, which is like fucking full body makeup and a giant costume, had fainted.
Oh fuck.
That might explain why that one guy had a really low-cut shirt. Though then they had to make up his chest, so maybe not.
Yeah, it's very
Jesus.
funny. I read that the teleplay writer said that one thing that he kind of laments about the way the episode ended up being was he says, "Oh, I really wish what we'd done instead was have the Starfleet crew always be on the ship and never come out, because it would have been more interesting to only hear Kilara as a voice but never see her." Which is interesting, but I do like Kilara, so
I can
Yeah.
think of at least 2 good reasons you want to see Kilara.
Yeah, I will say, since we're on that, why did they have to, sex her up? That was unnecessary.
I mean, I think it probably was a tactic, because when
yeah.
she first came out to talk to him,
she's smart.
she
yeah.
was being a little flirty, I think.
Yeah,
Flirty and
playing
also
innocent.
being like, it's my first time.
gentle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
okay.
Yeah, so I think they were
Ames,
actually
you're
like,
filthy.
let's our intelligence reports say that Sisko likes to sneak off to this alternate universe and fuck all of his friends.
God damn.
So he must be a sex machine.
Or they were confusing Sisko with Kirk.
Yeah. All Starfleet captains love boning aliens.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that's what it was and not just, someone being let's make a... Because, the first Vorta we ever saw was a woman, and
Yeah, Eris.
she was
This
in,
was supposed to be her, but she wasn't available.
Again, well, and then Ben definitely wouldn't have trusted her.
Oh, no, that's true.
Yeah.
So that would have been a bad idea. But, she's the first one that doesn't have the, horrible haircut the rest of the Vorta have. She kind of has some pompadour going on, but not as much.
I like it. I think it's pretty.
Yeah, and she also
Yeah.
had jewelry. She had earrings.
Yeah,
The
which
earrings were nice.
I can't imagine how long it took them to grab here. Where the fuck are we going to put these things? There's no good place. They were going to look weird regardless.
Top, bottom,
no, I thought they
middle.
looked great. I
Hmm.
liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too.
But yeah, I just mean the first Vorta we saw that was a woman wasn't done up to be sexy, and I hope that
Well,
if
they're
we see
different
more.
people.
No, I know, but up until now, like, every Vorta we've seen has kind of, like...
All three of them?
Yeah, but, like, they've all had the same
there
hair.
was another one.
They've all had the same exact haircut. They've all worn, like, very, like, similar clothes. Like, it's fine, but it just did strike me as weird that, like, really you're gonna change it up this time to show off some tits.
How many individual people do you see who all look the fucking same?
Well, right, but this is Star Trek. We're alien races.
I think that I don't imagine that the Vorta have a ton of individuality. Just right. I just assume that they're kind of automaton like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe the things that they're able to kind of personalize, they're like, I can wear earrings. That's the thing that can be different about me. I'm going to wear the fuck out of these earrings and let my titties out.
Yeah,
but I do think, though, that in this case, this was really okay.
Yeah.
How the fuck do we charm a human captain into giving us what we want? Because the alternative is the changeling on board is going to die.
Or be captured.
I would definitely prefer that to just it being like Rick Berman said, boobs!
Yeah, I don't know. It fits in the story for me.
It does.
So
it does with that explanation, I think.
And I don't know. I really like the character, even aside from.
Oh yeah. The character's
boobs.
Good.
Yeah.
I think that like, I like this side of the Vorta that we saw it with Wei-Yun, where they're kind of like these silver-tongued people, where they're just like, they're very charming, but they're charming in the used car salesman way where it's bullshit.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
That's why I was kind of like, when Ben was like, we should have just trusted each other. It's like, Ben, why? Like, the whole thing of the Dominion is duplicity. They're led by shapeshifters. The Vorta are, as Jake says, used car salesmen. The only honest members of the Dominion we've seen so far are the Jem'Hadar, because they say, I hate you and I'm going to kill you, and that's true.
Mm-hmm.
What were you going to say, Caitlin?
No, I was just going to say that, especially, too, because we watch her, like, completely switch tracks, like, several times in the same conversation. It's like, okay, well, a cute and innocent act isn't going to work, so let me try this. Well, actually, I think it was more like she went from flirty to inexperienced, and then, like, but it was just, yeah. And that's the thing, at the end, like, he's all upset because of these losses, and, if only we had known it was like an after-school special, we just should have tried to trust each other. And it's like, even I find it incredibly hard to believe that Sisko would not have done basically the exact same thing if he had known there was a changeling on board.
Oh, no, he would have, I think he would have taken the changeling hostage.
Hostage, yeah, that's what I mean. It's like,
he would have been like, all right, I have this changeling, you will fly us to,
Deep Space Nine,
well,
or we will kill it.
I think if he knew it was injured, he might have had a moral dilemma on his hand.
No, Bashir wasn't there.
Well, because here's the thing, though. 100%, if that changeling was, if they had allowed the Jem'Hadar to take that changeling off, they would have gotten blowed up immediately.
Maybe.
Definitely.
Regardless of whatever deal they made.
My very first thought when when Sisko realizes there's something on the ship that they want, and they're not going to like leave us alone until either we die or they get the thing. My thought was blow up the ship. Then at least they won't get what the thing is that they want. If they kill you, they kill you, but right now you're in no place to barter anyway. Blow up the ship. Blow up the wormhole. Don't let Bay join the Federation.
Burn it all down,
thoughts.
says Ames.
What I don't get, though, right? So the Federation isn't in an open state of war with the Dominion, as far as I know, right? They're just...
They're like, waiting for an incident, and there's they're
but the thing is,
there's
been a ton of incidents. Like
they're waiting for a really good one.
If I were like the families of the people that got blowed up on that runabout, I'd be like, what the fuck? Why haven't we declared war on these people yet? Like, they were just innocently orbiting a planet.
The time they blew up a conference last season.
Yeah.
I mean, taking control of Martok, too, is an incident, right?
Yeah, well I mean, that's the Klingons, though, right? Like, I'm just even thinking, it's like, acts of aggression from the Dominion against the Federation have been stacking up,
Giving, well, no, he's not a citizen of the Federation. Is they giving a citizen of the Federation a disease, but that's Odo, and he's, I guess, a citizen of Bajor?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's
He's
also
kind of not applicable.
Yeah, but I guess
You know.
I assume if he has any legal status, it's probably like I assume he has a Bajoran passport or the equivalent.
Or he's just Odo, unknown.
Yeah, so you bring up blowing up the roundabout, which our new friend Hoya was on. Hoya, the Benzite lady.
Yeah, with no
who
vape.
I thought was nice.
Yeah.
I liked
who
her a
had
lot.
no vape, and the way that the staff explains why she didn't have her vape is that there have likely been advances in Benzite's breathing technology in the meantime.
Well, we'll have to keep an eye out for then. Hopefully we don't see any Benzites with a...
Maybe not
Neither.
everybody can afford it.
Well, and we had the Klingon that Sisko randomly beat up in the last episode talking about pulling out someone's breathing tube and stuff.
That wasn't a
They
Benzite,
said,
though.
They
That
said
was
benzenite.
Oh,
which
I thought
was
that
either a mistake or a different similar race.
Oh, okay,
I'm
fair enough.
guessing
I thought they were
mistake.
saying it was a Benzite, but I thought you thought that too.
no. I didn't realize you thought Benzite. I would have said.
Oh, never mind. I withdraw.
Yeah. See, I just since we have no proof to the otherwise, I'm just gonna my headcanon is women don't need it. Their lungs are better or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I could also see maybe there's like a pill you can take to not need it for some period of
Good
time.
news, it's a suppository.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
See, if she was alone on the runabout, you could assume maybe since it was just her, she could have changed the
Change
atmospheric
environmental
settings.
control, yeah.
Oh yeah.
But there was a human and at least one other person on there.
Fucking humans always ruining everything.
And then there was that blue shirt Nosferatu. What species was he supposed to be?
He
I
was
don't
Bat
know.
Boy.
Seriously.
Bat Boy grown up.
Bad boy escaped again. Damn it.
Yeah, I don't know. They didn't give him any lines.
Nope.
But they were like, "What? Let's torture this actor by putting him in heavy makeup in the 117-degree desert."
Oh god, yeah. It looks like it's super sucked because as much as the crew can strip down to their underwear and dump water on their heads every 5 minutes, the actors can't.
And I imagine those costumes don't breathe.
Oh yeah,
I
especially
mean, they're
the
probably all like
Jem'Hadar.
latex, you know.
Yeah, or the Klingon and ugh.
Oh, yeah. Ugh.
Bet there were lots of single takes on this one.
Oh,
yeah,
probably.
well,
Yeah,
Good enough.
because
I read
there
that
wasn't
on
a
the,
ton of outdoor stuff.
Yeah,
you
on
know?
the set itself, they had all these stickers that they were putting on the walls of the ship to make it, look like it had stuff on it that just kept peeling right off in the sun.
Wow. Oh, stickers. That reminds me something I noticed last episode that I forgot to mention.
Oh, yeah.
Quark has upgraded his Ferengi can't do commerce here signs.
Yeah, he had two nice matching placards on this.
The sticker that
Brunt.
Brunt
That,
put up in
Brunt
that
put
one
up.
episode.
Yeah.
It's no longer like a cheap paper sticker, it's like a plaque, and he's got two of them, one on either side of the door.
Oh, maybe
I'm
Grunt sent them
assuming
an
that,
update.
it's like when you get a driver's license, they give you like a paper one,
Yeah.
but then they send you the real one in the mail. So it's just the actual plaques just took a while to come in.
Yeah, but the fact there's two of them, like, right next to each other, more or less, for symmetry's sake, it's like, well, it's gotta be here, it's gonna be aesthetic, damn it.
Put it in one of Quark's coats.
But yeah, sorry, I meant to mention that last episode and I forgot. Although, speaking
Alright.
of Quark, didn't need that scene.
He
In
needed
this
to be in the
episode?
episode.
Which scene?
The one where he and Julian were
In trouble. Like, kind of
that's
the
right.
only purpose it served, as far as I could tell, was showing that Odo's kind of back in his groove after last week. Like, that was very classic Odo, you know?
I think it served to fulfill the contractual obligation that Armin Shimmerman and
Alexander
Odo
Siddig.
Siddig and
Renee Aubergenois.
Renee, have in their contract to appear.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad it didn't end up being a full-blown B-plot with, like, Julian's legal issues, because I don't think this episode could have withstood a comedy B-plot.
Yeah,
Like, the fact that it is mostly really quite serious and dramatic is part of why it's good. And if we kept cutting back to DS9 and like, I need a lawyer, that would have just destroyed it.
well, also that was the only scene that Nana appeared in too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like everybody that wasn't on the planet got just that one scene.
Yeah. Neither I nor my baby give a shit about any of this.
Mm. Well, I guess, they couldn't have had Kira because it's like, let's have a very pregnant woman standing in the desert for, getting roasted.
Yeah, and it makes sense for her character as well. Like, a very pregnant character would also not go on these missions.
Oh, plus you gotta, I just feel like, not that they haven't done it before, but especially with things where they are now, you feel like you want either her or Sisko always on the station.
Yeah, well, it also just seems, I know we wouldn't have an episode otherwise, but I do think it's ridiculous that they have, these very high-ranking, very important officers doing a mineral survey.
Yeah.
They're not even, they're tied to the station,
I thought about that myself, and at first I was like, well, they are going near enemy territory, so maybe you send experienced people, but then you send them in the Defiant, not a glorified shuttle.
I mean, this is like fucking, this is Oberth work, This isn't Pride of the Federation work.
If an Oberth looked at the wormhole, it would explode.
That's probably true.
But you're right. In that, it should be a science vessel. Like, send an Excelsior. Those fuckers are meant to be sort of multi-purpose,
Yeah. They can take a licking and keep on ticking.
Yeah, and that's
Like
why they're
these
still in
runabouts
service
that are
after a
just-
goddamn century.
You know what we should have done? We should have kept a tally of all of the runabouts that have been destroyed. Because it's been a lot.
Mm-hmm.
What did they say? What the name of that runabout was this week?
The Rio Grande.
Yeah, it was the Rio Grande.
Ah, the Rio Grande. Wait, that's the one that got that Rio Grande's been through some shit.
It has. It's, I think, the longest lasting one.
I think it might be done now, though.
Is that yes?
It could be the Rio Grande.
Is that one of the original 3?
I think
'Cause
so.
I know yeah.
Could be the Rio Grande A.
Hmm.
Do they do that with runabouts? Do they give them A's?
I don't know, but they're gonna run out of Earth rivers pretty soon.
Seriously. Well, let's try naming after Vulcan rivers. Ah, fuck.
The one thing I really enjoyed this episode was the relationship between Munoz and O'Brien.
That was great.
It was really nice. I read in my book that's under a cat. Hang on. I read in my book that was under this cat that they weren't a big fan of what ended up happening with the relationship. I guess they wanted it to be more camaraderie, to which I say, how can you add more camaraderie before the laser wound? Yeah, but they wanted something else, and they weren't a fan out of it. And I say, why? Because I thought it was a really nice relationship.
It was a really strong, it was the emotional core of the episode, I felt.
Yeah.
So much orbited around it. It was really brilliantly done.
Yeah, and now, for whatever reason, I forgot that he was the same guy that was in Hard Time.
And Starship Down.
Oh, I only remember, I don't really remember him from Starship Down, but I do remember him from...
See, I was the other way around. I remembered that was him in Starship Down. I hadn't realized that was him in Hard Time until I read it.
But in Hard Time, they show him having that sort of joking relationship with O'Brien where he's like, pretty soon you'll be running the place. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
And again, this week they show him still have, they kind of have that thing where they're ribbing each other.
Yeah, O'Brien, you couldn't climb a mountain if you started at the top.
Thought it was all rolling hills in Ireland, no mountains.
So yeah, I don't know. I like the character. I do kind of even though they did have him in 2 prior episodes, it would have been nice, I think, to have more build up.
I mean, for Star Trek though, that's a lot of build up.
No, that's true.
The only other character who I think got any sort of build up like that was
Lita.
Her too. But as far as doomed people, what's the Bajoran who died in Lower Decks?
Cedo Jaxa.
And even then, she barely actually did anything in her previous appearance. She was just kind of there in the trial.
Yeah, she was bad.
So yeah, and normally your doomed ensign, that's their first appearance. So
yeah,
third, that's a lot for this show.
Yeah, but it was even without those prior appearances.
Yeah,
I still think it works.
Totally.
Just as a standalone character, even.
But it was nice that there is some history already there.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool that we saw a character speaking Spanish for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And
everything looks like stars.
Oh.
Well, I thought it was fireworks or something. Like it was a fireworks display.
I think so. The fireworks looked like stars.
Yeah, he said it looked like 1,000 shooting stars.
Yeah.
He went through stages of delirium.
Yeah.
It was when they were doing the bombardment was when he was talking about the fireworks.
Well, that makes sense because he was bringing in the auditory.
He was feeling and hearing the explosions.
Yeah,
that guy did some good dying acting.
He was
the only
incredible.
acting I didn't like out of him was when he got shot with the phaser. He did this barely a reaction. It was like this weird, just kind of, he just turned instead of like, oh, I've been shot. It's
It was 117 degrees.
yeah, maybe.
Like Caitlin said, a lot of one takes in this episode when it was the outdoor stuff.
All right, you've been shot. Just use it. Fuck
That's
it.
fine.
Who cares?
Yeah, I thought he was great. I was like on the verge of tears throughout his scenes, and then when the look on O'Brien's face when he like goes over to him and realizes he's gone, I like almost cried and was like, oh god, because the look on Cole Meany's face was like so brutal, and I managed
his face.
Yeah, but I managed to hold it together until he was like telling stories to his coffin and Worf showed up, and then I was like, ugh.
I think
Just
it was
so effective in like making me really like this character and making me really like bummed out. Like even though like like you said, Jake, like we didn't super know him very well prior to this, but I felt like they did a really good job of making me feel like really invested.
And they established very well that O'Brien knew him very well because they're on the engineering team, and the engineering team, they're all buddies.
Yeah,
it would make sense that they'd be like torn apart if one of them, got horribly killed in front of him.
Yeah, and I think that's, I mean, I don't know that we care as much about Munez directly as we care about him vicariously through O'Brien. I think, we don't know the character of Munez, but we're still sad about his death because we see how sad it makes.
Well, I barely cared about Tasha Yar's death, but I loved the looks on Picard's and Data's face at her funeral.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You feel for them
it's
like,
the same
oh my
thing.
god.
It's the same thing.
I liked Munez more than I liked Tasha Yar.
Ouch.
Oh.
I think it was also really...
Munez is a much better actor than Denise Crosby.
Yeah.
Low bar.
I feel like it was really like a good choice to not give him a dramatic death scene. Like they just turned away and at some point he died and they didn't realize it.
It was pretty fucking dramatic anyway though. Like he moved something and his fucking head just flopped over.
No, I know, but I mean,
like,
that's so like, that's not what TV usually does.
No, I know.
And so the fact they were just like, oh.
Gasping last words.
Yeah,
blah,
it's like,
blah.
fuck, when we weren't looking, he died.
Yeah. Oh man, I really wanted to be holding him when he died. That would have been so meaningful. I didn't get the chance, and he's gone now.
Yeah, like it just at one point when I was doing something, we lost him.
Fixing this ship that's crashed into a planet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because he died while they were trying to restart the ship.
Yeah. Yeah. I had to look up though, because he called O'Brien Hefe. And then O'Brien started calling him
PK.
PK, and I was like, what the fuck is that? Apparently it's a nickname for Enrique.
It means Ricky.
Yeah. Because at first, I don't know what that... I thought it was another word.
I kind of wondered that, too.
It was a name.
Well, I think Dax called him Enrique.
Yep.
And then they had O'Brien call him Kike.
Yeah, see, I missed her calling him Enrique, so, I mean, had I heard that, maybe I'd have made the connection, but...
So, there's a little racist exchange between Worf and O'Brien. Where
of course there is. Which one is being the more racist?
Well, I don't know. O'Brien was called Worf like a heartless Klingon bastard, and Worf called him a pussy human bitch. And
bitch.
And,
accurate.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I say equal opportunity racist exchange. Not out of character for either of them.
No.
Yeah, and Worf's bedside manner all episode long was just bullshit. Just tell him he's dying. Worf, what is wrong with you?
You get that he's human, right? And doesn't want the Klingon treatment.
Yeah, and I'll criticize the episode a little bit for that because I know how Worf is, but I don't know. I feel like Worf has been around humans most of his life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He should know that's not how you act around a dying person.
I think you could
and
also...
he does know you don't act that way around a dying person.
But you could pass that off as the stress because they've been being, bombarded, they're fighting, and... You know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like...
cracking wise.
The one thing that, I think the episode could have done a slightly better job of doing is, because I presume this is over the course of a day or two. And,
I'm not sure.
Well, they said it was about a week. It was going to take a week for...
2.5 days for them to
get back to them. For the Defiant to get there?
Yes. 2.5 days.
Yes, it wasn't a week.
We don't know.
Kira said she was going to be gone a week.
Yeah.
Oh. Well,
and
right, but that's
so
there
2.5 days is the trip there. So we can assume that, they were in there for probably...
And, we don't know that they were in there the full 2.5 days during the episode.
How long is a Bajoran week?
Mm.
Well, we know a day is 26 hours. So
That's not true. Oh, 26 you said, yes. In my brain I heard 76 and said that's wrong.
76 hours.
That'd be a really long
76
day.
trombones.
But yeah,
Yeah, and then
presumably
at
at least
Right.
one day passed, I imagine, that we saw.
it was unclear. We never saw it be night.
Yeah.
It's a tidally locked planet. We don't know.
I have no idea. Yeah, we don't know what a day on that planet is, so yeah, who the hell knows? We
I'm
do
assuming
see
that they're just talking about days as being 26-hour periods, because that's typically what they refer to it as on DS9.
So we have no. Yeah, it could be. They could be there many hours, and we'll never know if it's daylight or not.
Yeah. But again, I mean, the whole showdown with the Jem'Hadar could have taken place over a couple of hours.
Yeah.
And then, the Jem'Hadar lady left, or, the Vorta lady left, and then they just had to wait there.
Yeah, we don't really know.
Corpse for a while.
Yeah, speaking of the corpse, Worf kind of contradicts what he's said in the past about Klingon, or like about bodies, when he says, oh yes, we have to sit by the body to defend it from predators. When in the first time we talked about Klingon dead bodies, and I want to say matter of honor, something like that. He says, no, Klingon dead corpses are nothing but husks. We don't care about the dead bodies anymore. Rah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a chapter that was missing from his book O Klingons, and it's something he's
Maybe.
learned since.
Or maybe
there's
it's
probably like different religions, and they have different views.
or it's something you do differently depending upon the nature of the death.
Or
Maybe.
you don't care about the husk once the spirit has ascended, so he was still right. It was just that it takes a little
I don't
time or
know.
something.
He never did the roar.
Or
A warrior is coming to Stovacor. Yeah.
well, because
so
I
you'll
don't
never
think
know.
he felt he was.
alternately,
He said that he was dying like a pathetic, not warrior's death, though.
But he did get shot. Like, he died of a gunshot wound.
I know,
so
that's why I didn't understand
that's
what Worf's
battle,
problem
right?
was.
an easy explanation would be that Worf doesn't do feelings, so he made this up to be like,
Oh, maybe.
And to make it up to
I wanna
O'Brien.
sit here and do this thing with O'Brien,
Yeah, I've been
But I
racist
need-
to him all day.
but I need to I don't want to be honest, so I'm gonna couch it in, and I know O'Brien's not gonna fact check me. So I'm just gonna make up a tradition right here, right now.
Like he did with Cedo Jaxa when they were
Oh,
doing
yeah.
their,
Oh, yeah.
their
The Geet Tal.
their pretend martial arts.
Yep,
Yep.
there we go. Worf is just a consummate liar.
Fact.
Dukat should have let him lie.
What?
Dukat was saying that he didn't think Worf would be a really good liar before they left.
That's why he
blew.
blew up the other ship.
Yeah, because he didn't trust him to speak to the other.
in the other
Klingon.
episode.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
Apocalypse Now or whatever. Apocalypse Rising.
Apocalypse Now. Apocalypse Rising could alternately be titled Apocalypse Soon.
Yeah,
Ah, cool. Oh, yeah. No, I thought it was a pretty good week.
Yeah.
very good week.
Fun bit of intrigue followed by just a really well done character piece that really punches you in the gut.
Mm-hmm. And let's see. What anything else on these, or can we move on to get to getting out of here?
I think we can call this one a wrap. Jake
Take
us
us
out.
out.
Wow, that was perfect timing, guys. Well, if you like that and you want to hear more, A Star to Steer Her By can be found where all fine podcasts are sold. We're on SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. You can check us out online. We're on Facebook. If you search A Star to Steer Her By, we are SSHB Podcast on Twitter and Tumblr, or you can visit our website, sshbpodcast.com. Next week, we're going to be talking about 2 more episodes, Looking for Parmach in All the Wrong Places, and Nor the Battle to the Strong,
Yeah,
which
2
has
more
an
good ones.
ellipsis at the beginning. I don't really know why.
I'm sure because it's a quote from a poem or something.
Yeah.
Fucking Star Trek and their poems. I mean, I like poetry.
So I say, says the person on a podcast named after a poem.
Oh, yeah.
It was a quote from an episode of Star Trek.
True.
Wasn't it one of his plays anyway, not a poem?
No, it was a poem.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Oh, well, hot damn. You learn something every day. For example, maybe you didn't know that I am Caitlin.
I am Jake.
This has been Chris.
And this is always Ames.
See you next week.
No rules of acquisition. Don't smuggle
Glory
drugs.
to you and your house.
But boner drugs.
Okay.
Yeah.
What episode number is this?
You
194.
just said it.
194.
I said it?
Yes,
you did. 194.
When did I say it?
Oh,
God damn it,
God.
194.
I'm so confused.
Ames was like, is it 195? And you said, no, it's 194. And I was like, yeah, I think it's 194.
I have no recollection of this. I just had like a fugue state. That's the weirdest thing that's ever happened.
Were you sleep talking?
I must have
happened?
been. I don't know. Maybe I had a mental something. Okay, so what episode is it? 195, you said?
4.
4.
194.
Okay, episode 4. Got it.
Yep, episode 4. Perfect.
So we're talking about Day of the Dove and...
That was far from episode 4.
Yeah, I know, I just couldn't remember any of the earlier episode titles.
All right.